Have you ever wondered why capitalism is shifting away from the traditional consumer-based economy? In this video, we're uncovering the answer and showing how technology and innovation are transforming the way we think of capitalism today. We can see technology revolutionizing almost every aspect of our lives, but guess what? Technology is changing the way we look at capitalism. With automation taking over, companies are no longer relying on consumers to drive their profits. So, what happens if all these new opportunities have far more potential than simply going down the traditional consumer-based model? That's exactly what we'll be diving into in this video. The rise of artificial intelligence, or AI, has been a cause for concern among economists and the public in general, going all the way back to when computers started doing more than just simple calculations and began tackling complex tasks. And as AI continues to evolve and advance, it's becoming a crucial part of our economy. Even if everything works as intended, automation can still bring about a lot of challenges. One of the main concerns is how it might affect our jobs. We're not sure when or if machines will surpass human capabilities, which adds to the speculation about the future. But we need to say this again and again. Artificial intelligence, or AI, isn't about to replace people. Rather, it's all about boosting the productivity of our existing workforce and driving prosperity in our economy. By harnessing the power of AI, we can unlock even more potential and efficiency, benefiting everyone involved. Moreover, a lot of people, including economists, take comfort in the thought that if machines and AI take over human jobs, there won't be anyone left to afford the goods and services being produced. So, governments or businesses investing in full automation would have to make sure that people still have a source of income, because otherwise, their businesses wouldn't have any customers and they'll have no profits. There's this concept that's gaining a lot of popularity these days, and it's called a universal basic income. Basically, it means giving a guaranteed payment to everyone in an economy. The idea is to make sure that everyone can meet their needs and also contribute to the economy by spending money. And to finance these payments, companies that make billions of dollars from automated production would be taxed. It's actually pretty cool when you think about it, since consumers will have a big say in the economy. After all, their spending habits will determine what kind of goods and services are available. Like, if a lot of people start buying healthy food instead of pizzas, more healthy food places will pop up while pizza joints might struggle. It's kind of like a voting system for what gets produced. This approach not only frees up resources but also addresses the question of how we should allocate our limited resources. By giving consumers the power to shape the market, we can make sure everyone's needs are met. It's a pretty effective way to make the economy work for everyone. However, those are ideal conditions. In reality, our current economic systems tend to ignore the choices made by individuals who are not considered productive. That said, here's an idea. Picture a hypothetical future where super advanced humanoid robots merge with artificial general intelligence. These robots would act just like real people, having their own autonomy and all. And guess what? Despite their hefty price tag, these robots would actually cost no more than an average worker's yearly salary. Plus, the ongoing maintenance and energy expenses would be less than $1 per hour. Talk about a smart investment, right? In fact, these robots would pay for themselves in the first year alone. Given all that, as time goes on, we can expect that companies would gradually replace their human workforce with these amazing machines. And you know what that means? The organizations that embrace this technology would outcompete those who don't. They'd be able to offer more affordable goods and services since they wouldn't have to worry about paying wages anymore. It's a game-changing shift for sure. Now, let's say unemployment skyrockets to 100% within just a decade because machines have become so good at tasks that we humans can't even keep up. So what happens next? People will have no choice but to rely on welfare to make ends meet. At first, we might be able to support this by taxing those highly productive automated companies. But here's the real challenge. How do we make sure the system stays sustainable in the long run? Convincing companies to keep paying taxes won't be a walk in the park, that's for sure. What's more, because they don't necessarily need a labor force, companies have the option to set up operations in countries with favorable tax conditions. However, this approach can lead to a race to the bottom, making it difficult to fund welfare programs through regular tax revenues. On the other hand, governments might consider taxing land since fully automated companies still need space for resources and operations. However, implementing such a tax policy could be tricky, as it might unintentionally burden the population without employment but are in need of housing. If you want to become government rich, then make sure to subscribe for more insightful videos like this one. They'll inspire you to grow as a person, and they're free. Now, let's further envision the hypothetical future with AI. Imagine that profit-driven companies decide to replace their entire workforce with machines. As you know, if that were to happen, a lot of people would be left with limited or no income. So, here's the big question. If everyone's out of a job, who's going to buy these companies' stuff and keep their profits rolling? You could make the argument that the output of these machines could be sold exclusively to a select few who own the companies. And if individuals had a bunch of automated machines, they could also just easily make whatever they want. Of course, in this hypothetical future, it's likely that the machine owners would still trade goods and services among themselves. But the thing is, the unemployed masses wouldn't really have a role to play in those transactions. After all, they don't have anything valuable to contribute. As these companies continue to evolve, they would gradually start focusing on creating exclusive, high-end products and services that only a select few who have significant ownership stakes in these companies would have access to. These lucky individuals would live a life of incredible opulence, surpassing even the wildest dreams of billionaires from a century ago. However, for the rest of society, things could look rather grim. And in the worst-case scenario of this hypothetical future, there might be a shortage of basic essentials due to the lack of economic incentives, resulting in widespread starvation and suffering. But we believe that this hypothetical future won't happen. Think about it this way. According to experts, achieving human-level intelligence with AI may still be several decades away if it's even possible. So, while we shouldn't get complacent, there's no need for us to panic right now. This kind of situation happened before with machines that could weave textiles and print books. At its advent, people worried that these technologies would make human labor irrelevant. But people are still involved in those industries, right? And remember when search engines came along? Some thought certain professions, like law, would become obsolete. After all, when people have legal issues, why not just do a quick online search and get results for free? That beats paying hundreds or thousands of dollars in consultation fees, after all. But in reality, there are still people working in the legal profession. When they find themselves in a legal bind, people will still consult their lawyers about the issue. While some jobs have indeed disappeared, it's important to note that these technologies have matured and given rise to new roles for people. And you know what? Most of these technologies made the workers using them way more productive. These technologies and other similar advancements are poised to become valuable tools that can enhance productivity within a limited time frame. 100 years ago, it made sense to have lots of kids to help out on the farm. But nowadays, farmers can use fancy machines for crop harvesting, allowing them to save time, money, and other resources. And the same goes for the whole economy. As you probably already know, productivity in the economic sense is all about the value a worker adds to the economy in an hour of work. The famous economist Paul Krugman once made a point of highlighting that while productivity isn't everything, it does have a big impact in the long run. When a worker can generate more value in an hour, it means they can earn higher wages and help boost the overall prosperity of the economy. And in a capitalist-driven world, higher levels of productivity are vital. Given that, as our population ages, it puts greater demands on a smaller group of young workers to sustain our economic well-being. And the idea of embracing tools that enable them to accomplish more with less sounds exciting, don't you think? So, here's what we want you to remember. Fear about the future with all these technological advancements' effect on the economy doesn't really serve much of a purpose. And even when you think about the worst-case scenario we talked about earlier, it's still impossible to predict which jobs will be the first ones to go with automation. It used to be that people believed the physically demanding jobs would be the ones most at risk, while creative stuff like writing, art, and music would be safe. But guess what? Those jobs are still there. And lately, we've been seeing a lot of advancements in creative fields. What's interesting is that these advancements have actually created new job opportunities that didn't exist just a year ago. Ultimately, technological advancements can create new opportunities rather than solely eliminating old ones. It's all about adapting and evolving with the changes rather than fearing them. And in the end, it's up to us as a society to determine how we want these advancements to shape our future. So let's focus on harnessing their potential for good, rather than worrying about what might go wrong. And if you found this video useful, then you'll love these. And be sure to like this video to let the YouTube algorithm know you'd like to see more videos like this one.